71 is as far as he got. Dumbledore, 115.
We assumed the worst thing that happened to Jenny this year would be a prank gone wrong from her twin brothers, right?
Andrew, it's been weeks since we've recorded.
Weeks since we've had a successful recording.
Yeah, I keep saying chapter 18 around the corner, book 3. Yeah, we're going to be starting it at some point this year, maybe, hopefully. So you have been very busy, and we've told everybody that, you're involved in plays and
Very
everything.
busy. Yeah.
So tell us what's been going on lately, man.
So I was in the play Anything Goes a couple months ago. And then midway through Anything Goes, I started rehearsal for Stephen Sondheim's A Little Night Music, which is the music in there. So I play a character named Frederick. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 solos, and then I sing in other, songs. And some of the stuff is just difficult. Sondheim's music is very difficult, very technical, very advanced. So
That's right, you sing, yeah.
Yeah. So I sing in it, and it's kicking my butt. It's also a long play, so some of our rehearsals, especially for Tech Week. So Tech Week is the last week of rehearsals, at least for community theater. I'm sure larger productions, but you're doing it with the microphone, you're doing it with the costumes. I mean, you're running the show, and you're trying to tweak, fix, correct, make it as polished as possible. And because I'm one of the leads, for, I believe that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was at the theater till after 11 o'clock. So it was just kicking my butt.
We kept trying to record.
We kept trying, and I knew, because at the end there, usually in rehearsals, you don't have to be there every night because they're going to run scenes and work on music that you're not in. But because we spent a lot of time on the choreography, we kind of front-loaded the choreography for the waltzes and stuff. It was almost all hands on deck for 4 straight weeks, Monday through Thursday.
Am I going to have to wake up at 2 in the morning to be ready by 3 o'clock in the morning to record an
Bro,
episode?
yeah, I thought. It's like, man, we can't let this. So luckily we had enough content recorded that... we wanted to do it yesterday, but my son's soccer season started back, and I didn't realize that. My wife, because I've got a wife and 3 kids, so I have to, allot time for them as well. I say a lot like I have to plan for them. Obviously, I love being with them. So we went to a little fair yesterday. There's a 10-acre garden, several minutes from my home, but you can go there, and they will make pizza, like wood-fired pizza there.
Oh, really? I haven't had that yet.
Oh, bro, it's really delicious, and they use as much, of the ingredients from the farm as possible. So super cool. So I knew yesterday because I completely forgot about my son's soccer game, and you sent me the text. You're like, "Are we still on?" And I wanted to be like,
"Yeah, the soccer game. I didn't even know." I was like, "Yeah, I believe that." Yeah, he's got so much going on. How did opening night go? Because there was a lot of practice for this.
Opening night was great. What's so funny about theater is on Monday night, so first night of Tech Week, if you would have watched Monday night, you would have thought we had been doing the play for maybe a week and a half. Maybe we had been practicing for 2 weeks. It was not good. And so we tweak, and one of the best things, you expect to fail the first run through. You expect failure. So what I love about it is I know exactly where I did exactly what I wanted to. I know exactly where I didn't. And so, okay, now I can hone in on these phrases in this particular song. I can work my scene right here. So, so by Tuesday I was locked in. So the only mistakes that I was making were just little things in the song. So if you've never listened to A Little Night Music, my first song is called Now. And there's a lot of words, and it's a very fast pace. So it's, now as the sweet imbecility stumbles so lavishly onto her lap. Now there are 2 ways of doing, it's just so fast. and I'm also acting. And in that scene, I'm also removing clothing and setting it down. And then I'm going over to, so it's all of those things where I'm like trying to remember all things. So boom. And, so opening night, minimal mistakes on my part, covered them up great. Because the audience doesn't know the lyrics to the song.
Yeah.
So they don't know if I do something out of order or not. And
like
then
to say, you're your own worst critic, so.
100%. 100%. And so, I say things like, oh, man, I messed that up. And people are like, nobody noticed.
Yeah, I do that with the
Nobody
podcast.
knows.
I'm telling my brother, I'm like, oh, this sounds bad, or oh, this. He's like, what are you talking about, man? I didn't even notice.
Yeah. So it's wonderful. It's a lot of fun, and
that's awesome.
And
you have a pretty good memory too. So this
I
right up your alley.
I do. I'm no genius or anything. I've got a pretty good memory. So if I can read something, highlight it. I take it line by line, page by page, scene by scene. And then I'll do the scene, and then I'll go to the next one. And then I'll do both of them. So I just have a method that I use, and it works, and so I stick with it.
And I've been over here working on the house, just like
I was about to say, you've been putting a lot of work on the house.
Yeah, just redoing stuff that needs to be replacing rotten wood, skirting around the porch, trying to fix the ceiling of the porch. There's some mold on it, and it all sounds like, oh, replacing the skirting. Oh, that's no problem. No, I've been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm like 3/4 of the way done right now, and I'm like, man, this
to get it done right, it's a process.
Yeah, I got to put kills on the on the plywood just to protect it, and then as I'm putting that on, I'm like, man, I should have replaced all the framework, but then that's more money and more time. So,
it's tough. That's tough.
I mean, the framework's holding everything up, so replacing a little bit here and there that needs to be replaced. But it's a lot. I can't wait till that's done. And
absolutely.
You're taking a little break from the acting right now, or is it just a little hiatus, like through the...
Well, I don't have any other plays this year unless they call me for something with Christmas. I'm not going to audition for anything.
Oh, so we're golden.
We're golden, and I talked about it. My wife and I started a little gymnastics program, and so
I couldn't believe that when you told me. I was like, he's got all this going on, and then he's like, you know what sounds good? More. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles, to Squibs Corner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew, and we finally made it. We finally made it to chapter 18 of book
I cannot
2.
explain how excited I am to be in book 3.
Yeah. So if you're new to Squibs Corner, Jeremiah was doing the podcast before I came along and was past midway through book 2. So then reached out. We got connected through a group on Facebook, and he said, hey, does somebody want to be co-host on a Harry Potter podcast? I was like, oh, absolutely. That sounds like fun. So we did an episode. I think it was the Dueling Club. And you reached out to me the next day or the following day. And you were like, bro, that was just different from what we had done.
Yeah.
I liked it. It felt good. It sounded good. I think we need to start at book 1, chapter 1. I said, bro, this is your baby.
That was a big
you let me know
for myself.
So he's done book 1 twice, book 2 through Dueling Club twice, and now he has been, he's ready. He's ready.
Yeah, these new chapters seem kind of new to me. So. Oh, something different.
Yeah. So before we get to chapter 18, Dobby's reward, let's recap chapter 17, the Heir of Slytherin. So Ron and Harry, they have found the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets. It was in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. They get Professor Lockhart to go with them because he's bragged about being able to save Ginny, who has been taken into the chamber. And he's like, oh, I can take this on, read my autobiographies, I've done all these things. So they go down, and we find that, like we assumed all along, Lockhart hadn't done any of those things. The only magic that he's truly good at are memory charms. So he went around...
According to him.
According to him, yeah. We've not seen that yet because the only time we've seen him, it was a faulty wand. Yeah. So anyway, so he would go around, interview these wizards, witches that had done great things, write down the story, and then memory charm them. And he would take credit for it. So they got down there. He took Ron's wand, which if you've been following along has not worked well ever since being damaged by the Whomping Willow. Tried to do a memory charm on Harry and Ron and it backfired. So not only did Lockhart get hit with this memory charm, but it caused a slight explosion down in, the passage to the Chamber of Secret, very far under the school. Everything's very far into the school.
Yes, it is.
So Ron and Lockhart are on one side and Harry's on the other side. So Harry's got to go save Ginny by himself. And so he goes, he finds the entrance, he goes in, and he sees Ginny laying on the floor unconscious. And we meet Tom Riddle. And turns out that Tom Riddle, the 16-year-old version of Tom Riddle that we meet, tells us that he is Lord Voldemort. Lord Voldemort started using that name while in school, and Tom Riddle had heard a lot about Harry. He got Ginny to go down there so that he could kill Harry. Yeah. So obviously that didn't work. Harry's a true Gryffindor, and he's loyal to Dumbledore. So because of that, Fawkes came to help him. The Sorting Hat with Fawkes, Harry was able to pull a sword out of the Sorting Hat. And
after it fell on his head.
After the sword literally almost knocked him out on his head. And he was able to defeat the basilisk and realized that while he was down there, and Fawkes the Phoenix saved him, and then he stabbed the diary with one of the basilisk fangs. The basilisk fang that had come out of the basilisk when it bit Harry. So, thus ending Tom Riddle, at least the 16-year-old version of Tom Riddle that was alive because of the diary. So then Ginny wakes up. They go out. Fawkes goes out with Ginny and Harry. They get to the rock wall. They're able to get through. Everybody's happy. Lockhart is out of it, and he's loopy. So they fly back up the tunnel. They go back into Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. Moaning Myrtle is disappointed that Harry is alive.
I love it. Yeah, I love
She's
it.
disappointed because she's like, oh man, if you would have, you could have shared.
Yeah,
You could have shared a U-bend with me. And then that takes us to the beginning of chapter 18. Great chapter, Dobby's Reward. I'm super excited to get into it.
Yeah, and let's get into the 7-word summary.
Bum, 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 bum.
It just wants me to press play for everything now.
Please be more intuitive, Riverside.
Yes. So, my 7-word summary was well thought of in advance, like always.
Lies.
I didn't think of the 7-word summary right before we started recording. No, that would be very irresponsible of me.
No.
Like Jenny reading a magical book that she can't see the brain to. So, my 7-word summary is a sock can set working slaves free.
Okay. My 7-word summary. Let's see if I can remember it. Dumbledore, Hermione, Hagrid, back, Harry, true Gryffindor.
Yeah, that's a better summary than mine.
It's a
Mine's
better
not a
summary,
really
but
summary.
but we're gonna get to yours. Yours is a big part of this chapter.
Yeah. And now we get into the 7 chapters.
I mean, it's called Dobby's Reward. So your 7-word summary was Dobby's Reward. Come on.
I kind of gave away the ending.
Womp, 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 womp.
So the first of our 7-chapter notables is Dumbledore is back. 2, possible legilimens in action. 3, Pottermort's similarities. See what I did there?
I like that.
Pottermort's. 4, working with the Sorting Hat. 5, Harry, what you doing with that sock? 6, Lucius versus the diary. Ding, ding. 7, the Dursleys proud of Harry?
Sure.
Now we'll get into the first paragraph of this chapter to set the mood. For a moment, there was silence as Harry, Ron, Ginny, and Lockhart stood in the doorway, covered in muck and slime, and, in Harry's case, blood. There was a scream. Ginny!
So if you'll remember at the end of chapter 17,
We found out how strong Fox the Phoenix was.
Fox the Phoenix, Fox the Phoenix is very strong. And it's magically strong too. Because if you'll remember, as soon as they touched Fox, Harry automatically felt lighter. So we know that in the beginning of the book, when we first meet Fox, Dumbledore is telling us some of the attributes. Yeah, they're very able to lift very heavy loads. And so they kind of added a magical thing to that too. So at the very end of chapter 17, they find themselves at McGonagall's office. Because remember, Dumbledore had been kicked out just a few days ago. Right? Or no. Was it a few days ago?
I think it was a few weeks.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. Maybe a little longer than that. Yeah. So anyway, so Dumbledore is not at the school. So Harry naturally went to Professor McGonagall's room. So they open the door, and like the first paragraph says, they're all covered in slime and muck and stuff, except for Harry, who's got blood. And then you hear Mrs. Weasley's voice yelling, Ginny, which obviously is a yell of relief.
She is everybody's mom as we go through these books.
She's everybody's mom, yes, but to have her only daughter, and, you don't know what the message was from the school to the Weasleys. Here's what it says, here's what it's written on the wall.
Yeah, no.
We don't know where it is, so... Yeah. Naturally, Mr. Weasley, and the chapter says he was closely behind her. So they feared the worst, naturally. So we're at Professor McGonagall's office, but yet, chapter notable number 1, Dumbledore is standing right there with her, which is a beautiful thing. Everybody's like, yes, obviously we need Dumbledore back. Yeah. And so... now Harry has to retell everything that happened there. So it says he was speaking for about 15 minutes leading up to everything. And a few, I think, really cool things happen here. So naturally, Harry didn't want to say anything about the diary. He did and he didn't. Yeah. Right? He did and he didn't. Because at this point, there's no way to prove if Ginny was acting on her own or if something else was happening.
But yeah, he also didn't want to be like, well, there was this diary that Ginny got her hands on.
Yeah.
He didn't want to. And he does that throughout the book. He's very he's loyal to a fault. Yeah,
he definitely didn't want Ginny to get in trouble. And so he's telling this story. And then we'll go chapter notable number 2, possible legilimens, which I think Dumbledore, I don't think Dumbledore needed it here, but I think Dumbledore knew exactly what. I think Dumbledore knew exactly what Harry was thinking. So we've spoken about Dumbledore and how we assume he's a skilled legilimens, which is talked about in book 5. But Dumbledore doesn't really like to brag about himself. Every now and then he will say, but, my idea was rather cleverer than, he'll add little things like that. But right here, Dumbledore says, as Harry is hesitating to talk about it being, he doesn't know how to prove that Lord Voldemort was doing this because the diary was damaged. So then Dumbledore goes, what interests me most is how Lord Voldemort managed to enchant Ginny when my sources tell me he is currently hiding in the forest of Albania. And yes, Harry was super relieved, super grateful. And then Mr. Weasley was... I mean, that's a stretch, right? Oh, we went from she was taken to she was being possessed by the darkest wizard in modern times that we had all hoped was dead, right?
It's Ginny's first year.
Ginny's first year, right? We assumed the worst thing that happened to Ginny this year would be a prank gone wrong from her twins, her twin brothers, right? That's the worst they assumed. But now they're learning like, oh my gosh, so you're telling me
Oh, wait,
Lord.
I gotta add. Hogwarts is the safest place.
safer than a bank. Safer than a bank.
We always have to
So-
put that in there.
Yeah, so Harry talks about the diary. He's like, it was the diary. That's what was doing it. And Dumbledore grabs the diary and he goes on to say, brilliant. Of course, he was probably the most brilliant student Hogwarts had ever seen. Very few people know that Lord Voldemort was once called Tom Riddle. I taught him myself 50 years ago at Hogwarts. He disappeared after leaving the school, traveled far and wide, sank so deeply in dark arts, consorted with the very worst of our kind, under which so many dangerous magical transformations that when he resurfaced as Lord Voldemort, he was barely recognizable. Hardly anyone connected Lord Voldemort with the clever, handsome boy who was once head boy here. So then so then Ginny finally admits to her parents that she had been basically writing to the diary, and then the diary was writing back to her, right? So she was talking to Tom, Tom was talking to her. And then Mr. Weasley says such a Weasley dad thing. Have I taught you nothing? I've told you, never trust anything that can think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brain. So kids, if you're listening to it, that's good. That's good internet.
Yeah.
AI. That's good. That's good internet decorum as well.
Yeah, we're heading in the wrong direction, I fear. Well, okay, here's something I see brought up a lot. And we'll get deeper into it as we go. But Voldemort did all of these things to become essentially immortal. 71 is as far as he got. Dumbledore, 115. So we'll just throw that out there.
And if Voldemort wouldn't have made the ring a weapon, Dumbledore probably would have lived a lot longer.
Well, Dumbledore even says it here, like hardly anyone connected Lord Voldemort with the clever, handsome boy that was once head boy here, because completely different features, everything about him, completely different.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. It just it's a real, like, they talk about greed, like don't be greedy and stuff like that, and this is a real example of that right here. Dumbledore has always been helping others, giving others the benefit of the doubt, being real nice, not using his powers to his full extent, even though he's supposedly the strongest wizard who ever lived. And then we have Voldemort, the classic bad guy. He's doing everything he can to make sure he can live forever and be the strongest wizard in existence. And nope. So
yeah, that's what I used to say. It's like, when you meet Dumbledore, when you read about Dumbledore, most of the time he seems very stress-free. Yeah. And when you meet Voldemort, he's always very stressed.
Maybe that's why I like Voldemort so much, because I'm always stressed.
he's. Oh, I thought it was the bald head thing. I thought you were.
I've been a little lazy.
There's
been a little lazy lately.
For those of you that are just joining in, Jeremiah and I have never met. Like this, we have never met each other in real life. This is our relationship. Is the podcast.
Hey, we plan on meeting one day when it comes to something Harry Potter
related. Yeah, we're going to do something
so.
Harry Potter related. Yeah. Absolutely.
So Dumbledore, being the lenient headmaster, he is, and this is great. He tells Jenny there will be no punishment, and just to go up to the hospital wing and ask for some hot chocolate and recover. With everything
because he
going on,
he knows Madame Pomfrey's awake.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
Go to the hospital. Because what's Madame Pomfrey doing?
She's
administering the Mandrake solution. So he's like, yeah, go up there. I know she's awake. She's about to administer everything to, the Mandrake potion to the...
And every time I read this, it makes me want to just, like, sit on the porch with a really good cup of hot chocolate and just kind of...
It was 60 degrees here this morning.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sweatshirt weather. And my 4-year-old she'll ask for hot chocolate. So my wife made some hot chocolate, and we sat out in the rocking chairs this morning.
Water or milk?
So we use almond milk. Yeah, we do almond milk, and then we use cacao, and I think either honey or maple syrup. I can't remember. And it's just a thick, like it's nice.
You have to try to give me that recipe. For me, the thought of heating up milk and then proceeding to drink it sounds just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever done it with dairy milk. Yeah, we do it with there's a brand called Malk. It's almond milk. It's pretty healthy stuff. That we'll use that.
Yeah. So Dumbledore starts to tell Harry that you were supposed to be expelled the next time you broke the rules. And I just love this. Ginny, we're cool. Go get some hot chocolate. Harry.
Yeah, no punishment for Ginny.
Harry, it's about time you might get expelled right now. What?
But she was the one trying to kill muggles. I was trying to save people.
Yeah. So Dumbledore goes on to say, which goes to show that the best of us must sometimes eat our words. You will both receive special awards for services to the school. And let me see. Yes, I think, just a random pull out right here, 200 points apiece for Gryffindor.
In book one, I think only Slytherin had more than 400 points.
Yeah.
At the end of book one.
Did you see one of Kelly's recent videos?
No, I've not been on TikTok
She
in a
went
while.
through everything and assessed and added and how many points were given to who throughout the whole book. So you got to go watch that. Yeah.
There you go.
So instead of freaking out, Dumbledore just says, "Impale." Oh, okay. I skipped something.
I was about to say,
Okay.
yeah, where are you?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
this gets great right here.
Yes.
So Jenny, get some hot chocolate. Harry, I might have to expel you. Just kidding. Here's 200 points.
Just kidding, yeah.
The other
For
cool
you,
thing-
and 200 points for Ron.
right? It wasn't Dumbledore a Gryffindor? So it's a little biased right there, you know.
Yeah, we never see him giving exuberant points to any other house.
No. It's 200 points. Let's see. It's 200 points for you. So the other cool thing that happens here is Dumbledore notices my guy Lockhart is standing there, not saying a word. And he asked him, "Why so modest, Gilderoy?" And that's when Ron tells him, well, actually, Lockhart tried to do a memory charm, and it backfired. And instead of freaking out, Dumbledore just says, "Impaled upon your own sword, Gilderoy."
So Dumbledore knew. Dumbledore knew.
But what's even better, Gilderoy says, "Sword? Haven't got a sword. That boy has, though. He'll lend you one." And I think later, they call him Professor Lockhart, and he's like, "Professor, I believe I was clueless, wasn't I?"
Yeah, well, that was before that. He goes, "Oh, Professor Lockhart, you've been very quiet." And he goes, "Professor," and he goes, "Was I Professor? I must not have been very good." You know, he's like, no,
you weren't.
Yeah, so
Great character.
So then,
for the book, though.
yeah, so then Dumbledore tells Ron, like, "Hey, why don't you take him up to the hospital wing? We're gonna get."
We're going to be able to do absolutely nothing for him.
Yeah. And you know what's cool? Or just before this, when Dumbledore says, "Hey, Madame Pomfrey's about to do the Mandrake serum," Ron goes, "Then everybody's going to be okay?" And instead of answering Ron, Dumbledore says, "Everyone's going to be all right, Ginny."
Really?
To dispel her. Because at first when I read that, I was like, but Ron asked the question, why are you... But it mattered so much more to Ginny, because how bad would she have felt, even though she knows. Even Dumbledore said, greater wizards than Ginny have been hoodwinked by Lord Voldemort, right?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he gave her every out. And so, they're about to do the Mandrake thing. Oh, so everybody's going to be here? Hermione's going to be okay? Ginny, everybody's going to be okay. I thought that was just kind of a cool little thing to console Ginny.
I tell you, the character buildings in this book, in this whole series, there's just...
If you really look for it, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, which is why I kind of get frustrated when there's Dumbledore hate about leaving Harry to do everything himself, and he could have
Like,
helped
no.
helped
It
out
all
more.
makes sense,
And it's like,
and,
whoa,
and
whoa,
we will
whoa,
get
whoa,
to
whoa,
it.
whoa. Yeah.
We got you, Dumbledore. Just
Yeah.
you might have to wait a couple years.
Yeah. So Ron and Lockhart leave, and now it's just Dumbledore and Harry, because McGonagall took the Weasleys and Ginny up to the hospital wing, and now it's just Dumbledore and Harry. So they're all alone. They sit down. They start having a conversation, just the two of them. And I love this. I loved it at the end of book 1. I love it at the end of book 2. It's just Harry and Dumbledore. And when they're alone, Dumbledore says, you must have shown me real loyalty down there for Fawkes to show up, which I'm sure Dumbledore, appreciates that greatly. And then a few things happen. So Tom, obviously trying to instigate with Harry, he says, look, you and I have a lot of like. And he tells, Harry tells Dumbledore this, which, chapter notable number 3, Pottermore's similarities, but Harry disagrees. And so, Dumbledore kind of, guides this and can kind of see that, well, the book says that Harry's like, oh, I don't think we're anything alike, said it a little louder, a little more aggressive than he meant to, right? He wants to deny it. And so Dumbledore kind of picks up on that, and he tells Harry, he goes, look, you do have some similarities, right? They and in real life, and in the books, they do have similarities. They're both orphans. They're raised by people that are not their parents. Hogwarts, they love Hogwarts very much. They're gifted wizards, right? So there are all of these things. And so Harry's like, everybody thinks everyone thought I was the heir of Slytherin. The Sorting Hat wanted to put me in Slytherin, right? I can speak Parseltongue. So Dumbledore says, look, Harry, you can speak Parseltongue because Lord Voldemort could speak Parseltongue. And that when Voldemort tried to kill him, he accidentally transferred some of his power to Harry that night when he failed to kill him. Which Harry responds with something a little cool here. So you're telling me that Voldemort put a part of himself in me?
Oh.
That's how he phrases the question.
Clever.
Right? That's how he phrases the question. You're telling me he put part of himself in me? And Dumbledore's like, it does seem that way. So we've been saying this for a while, obviously, but Dumbledore confirms it. Chapter notable number 4, working with the Sorting Hat instead of the Sorting Hat being kind of a totalitarian, character. Tom was in Slytherin. Harry can speak Parseltongue. Deny it or believe it. If there's any similarities between Tom and Harry, they exist. And then he tells Dumbledore, which he hasn't told anybody at this point, that the Sorting Hat was going to put him in Slytherin. And the only reason that he didn't was because Harry asked to be put in Gryffindor. And Dumbledore says, that, Harry, that. And if you remember, going back to book 1, obviously, the Sorting Hat says, you could be great. It's all here. You could be great in Slytherin. And I think an average 11-year-old orphan kid hearing said, oh, if I put you in this house, you could be great. They would easily be like, then do it. Let's do it. Put me there.
Right.
But Harry's like, no, I want to be in Gryffindor. And Dumbledore tells him, look, that's why you and Tom are different. I imagine what the Sorting Hat told Tom Riddle.
Probably something similar.
Would have been very similar.
Yeah.
Right? Would have been very similar. Because I view Merope Gaunt as a Sirius Black character. Right? Sirius Black was from a line of Slytherins. Mm-hmm. And did not want to be that. But I think because she was so submissive from her father, I obviously think she was in Slytherin house. If she was even allowed to go to school. I honestly don't remember if it's ever said that Merope or Morphin was educated at Hogwarts. I don't think they were. I'd have to look that up. So that's where Dumbledore's like, look, that's where you and Tom are different. And then he goes, look, why don't you go take a look at that sword over there? So he goes over and he looked at the sword. Obviously, we haven't read it yet. And it says Godric Gryffindor. So Dumbledore's like, only a true Gryffindor could have pulled Gryffindor's sword out of the hat. So then Dumbledore's like, obviously, I think Harry's feeling a little more at ease with that confirmation and affirmation. And in true Dumbledore fashion, he's like, Harry, you need to go to the feast. So earlier, Dumbledore's like, we got to celebrate with a feast. So alert the kitchens. Let's make this happen. And you got to assume this is late at night. This is late at night. And later in the chapter, it says it's past 3:00. So I'm like, wait, is this noon? Like, are we around? Is this like lunchtime? It always felt like it was late at night.
Yeah, the time doesn't seem to have
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's like, go eat. I've got to write 2 things. I've got to write a letter to Azkaban. We need our gamekeeper back. And I've got to write an advertisement for the Daily Prophet. We need a new defense against the dark arts, Professor. We seem to be going through those at an alarming rate.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. It's... You can speak Parseltongue because Lord Voldemort can speak Parseltongue. Like, what a hit to the gut right there, but then finding out, well, he accidentally transferred some of his powers to you. Like, oh, wait, what?
Well, and I would be cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, if Dumbledore, because I assume Dumbledore knows at this point that that's not all that happened.
Yeah.
But for it to be like, oh, I got some of the powers of a strong wizard? Sweet.
You know, Dumbledore is real good at reading the room.
Yeah.
Real good at reading
Give
the room.
him, yeah.
How much should I tell? I think this is just enough.
Well, he did it last year at the end. He goes, you can ask me whatever you want to, but I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to lie to you, but I will tell you if I don't think you're ready to hear it.
You got to think at 11 and 12. There's only so much you can handle. Only so much you can...
Yeah, and he talks about this in book 6, right? Dumbledore talks about it. He confesses to Harry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's great. It's great. And in true drama fashion, as soon as Harry reaches the door, it slams open with great force. And who was on the other end? That's right, Draco Malfoy. Wait, no, wrong Malfoy.
No, wrong Malfoy, my friend.
Lucius Malfoy. And Dobby, who was covered in bandages. So, if you can remember, let's backpedal here for a little bit. Lucius is the one who came to Hagrid's hut with a form with all 12 governors' signatures on it for the removal of Dumbledore from Hogwarts. And we learn that several of the governors, 11 to be exact, seemed to think that Lucius had threatened to curse their families if they didn't agree to suspend Dumbledore in the first place. And, of course, Lucius denies all of this. Dumbledore is the one that's telling him, hey, bro, come on.
Yeah.
So Dumbledore brings out the Black Diary, and they start talking about it. While this is going on, Dobby, which my voice text wrote as, don't be corny. The voice text doesn't work too good sometimes. He keeps pointing at the diary and then at Lucius and then starts punishing himself. And Andrew, let me know if you agree with this, but as we move forward, I think we see some similarities between Dumbledore and Harry Potter.
Yes, just not as quick. I think Dumbledore is quicker at it than Harry. But yes, Harry, obviously with what he learned this year, to narrow that all down and be... I mean, Harry figured out where the Chamber of Secrets was.
Yeah.
Right? And apparently for 1,000+ years, people have been trying to figure out where the Chamber of Secrets was. Harry figured it out.
But do we honestly think Dumbledore didn't know where it was?
I do honestly think because once the first student, once Miss Norris was petrified, I think he would have immediately. Yeah. So I don't think he knew where it was, and I think that's a flaw in this book in particular. But for what it is. It's canon.
Yeah.
Harry figured it out. Now, Dumbledore never had the diary, right? So he never had Tom Riddle's diary. So, maybe Harry had a heads up. Dumbledore never talked to Aragog, presumably, about. I'm sure he never did that. So Harry had clues that Dumbledore didn't have, because you would have assumed that Slytherin would have put magical boundaries on, concealing where the Chamber of Secrets is. And I'm sure Dumbledore and other great wizards were you have to assume Salazar Slytherin was an amazing wizard.
Yeah, I never thought about that. All Harry told it was open.
Harry didn't use any magic to get there. He used logic. Oh, I think it's Moaning Myrtle.
English.
Did you die here? Yeah. Did you die here? Yeah. What did you see? 2 eyes from over there. Let's walk over there and look.
Huh.
Right? It's like, it's like when they try to do, Accio Horcrux and it doesn't work. When some of the locks, they do Alohomora and it doesn't unlock, right? So there's magic to fight against magic. And I'm sure...
Yeah, if anything, like, that tap didn't work, once you kind of got a hint about where it was, made it a little bit more obvious that, it's right here. It must be right here.
And Dumbledore doesn't speak Parseltongue. Yeah. Maybe he does.
Good
because Dumbledore speaks a lot of languages, just like Barty Crouch. But... so there were a lot of things that worked in Harry's. Remember, each book, there's a common theme of Harry, even Harry talks about this, there is luck and coincidence involved with Harry. So when people are like, oh, you're the chosen one, he's like, oh, look, I had a lot of help. Remember when he starts Dumbledore's army? They're like, but you did this. Yeah, but I got lucky. Yes, but you did it, right? So I would still say that Dumbledore is leaps and bounds ahead of Harry, but...
And that's something we got to talk about moving forward. Like Harry's like magical abilities. Like, was he really that great, or was it just a lot of help?
Or is it both? Right? Or is it both?
Yeah. I mean, he is very similar to Dumbledore in that matter. Like, hey, look, sure, but I'm not taking all the credit. Right, so...
Sure. Yeah, look, Harry exhibits great bravery. He puts, clues together. He admits his weaknesses, right? So, there are a lot of similarities. He's a great teacher. He's a patient teacher.
You would think one of his weaknesses would be Expelliarmus, but somehow it's one of his strengths, so...
It's his greatest strength. Yeah, so Dobby is... gesturing to the diary, then gesturing to Lucius, gesturing back and forth. So Harry flat out calls Lucius, right? He calls out Lucius. Don't you want to know how Ginny got a hold of that diary, Mr. Malfoy?
How should I know? How should I know how that stupid little girl got a hold of it?
Because you gave it to her in Flourish and Blots. You picked up her old Transfiguration book and slipped the diary inside it, didn't you?
Prove it.
And I love Dumbledore. Dumbledore's like, let me hop in here.
Dumbledore intervening.
Yeah. Dumbledore. New. Like, obviously, we're not going to be able to prove this because Riddle has been banished from the book, right? Nobody's going to be able to prove this. But he does say, but Lucius, I would advise you not to give Voldemort's stuff or Tom Riddle's stuff to anyone else moving forward, okay? Because... if you do, I'm almost sure that it will get traced back to you, and Arthur Weasley will make sure that it never happens again. I love that. I love that. So,
of course, Lucius, it wasn't you, but it was.
Yeah. So Lucius, his plan didn't work. He's being called out on it. Dumbledore's there. Tom Riddle's diary. Which, if Lucius knows what he did and how bad of a mess up it is, now he's nervous, right? He's nervous, so everything's going against him. So he's like, all right, Dobby, let's go, right? Let's go. And Harry asks Dumbledore, he goes, hey, can I give the diary back to Lucius? And Dumbledore's like, yeah, sure, just do it. Which I feel like Dumbledore would be like, I actually want to examine this thing before we do anything else. But he goes, yeah. So chapter notable number 5, Harry, what you doing with that sock? And chapter notable number 6, Lucius versus the diary.
And I have a quick question here. So, if Harry gave the diary back to Lucius, how did it wind up back in Dumbledore's possession?
Well, I'm sure at that point, what's Lucius going to do with the diary?
Maybe he just threw it back down on the ground.
He just throws it back down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Harry's about to embarrass Lucius again. Right? So Harry runs out. Before he gets out of the door, he takes off one of his socks that has basilisk blood, his own blood, gunk, grime, slime, all that jazz. He flew through a sewer twice today.
Yeah, I love how they describe it, because I'm like, socks aren't like that, but then when you go, oh, he's in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So puts the sock on the diary, runs out, and he tries to give Lucius the book. Okay? So Malfoy, say again?
We already talked about that.
Yeah. So Malfoy sees the sock and the book, takes the book out of the sock, tosses the sock to the side, and then he tells Harry something awful.
It's always things like this, like you have to point out, like, I think Malfoy said something like this, and the Dursleys have said something like this, and now Lucius, you'll meet the same sticky end as your parents one of these days. They were meddlesome fools, too. That's just... And somebody else said sticky end, too, so... What?
That's what they say in their meetings. They just use the same term, sticky end.
How do multiple people talk to a kid like this? Your parents made a sticky end, and you're going to be meeting the same sticky end. Like, what? What?
Yeah.
And were his parents really meddlesome? They were at home minding their business. And
Well, they were a part of the order, right? So I get it. They were fighting back against what Lucius, was fighting for. So,
but that's a nasty way to talk to a kid.
Yeah.
So in the heat of the moment, he's just not paying attention when he threw that sock, because as they went to leave, Dobby wouldn't go. So he was just kind of staring at the sock in his hands. Mm-hmm. And now this is great writing right here, because the only way a house elf can be freed is if he's given a piece of clothing by his master, which is exactly what happened. Albeit it wasn't a piece of Lucius's clothing, but Lucius did grab the sock and throw it, and Dobby caught it. Because I've always wondered that, like, oh, it's Harry's sock, but Lucius is the one that picked it up and threw it,
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lucius is understandably mad. He goes to threaten Harry Potter. Dobby gets right in between them and starts to defend Harry Potter by attacking Lucius with some sort of spell.
Just points a finger at him. Stay away.
You shall not harm Harry Potter!
Yes.
Malfoy leaves, and Dobby thanks Harry. Harry said,
just promise never to try to save my life again. Which Dobby doesn't pay attention to. Dobby doesn't pay attention to.
What Dobby actually, he say like, oh, how could Dobby ever repay Harry Potter? And I just don't ever try to save my life again.
Yeah, he's just like, Harry Potter is far greater than I could ever imagine. I love Dobby.
Which is insane to think about, because Dobby is pretty much obsessed with Harry Potter. So for him to have more admiration for him.
Yes. Well, Harry's quick thinking got him freed from the Malfoys.
That was quick thinking.
Right, that was quick thinking.
Yeah.
So then after this, everything kind of goes back to normal. Everybody's congratulating Harry. Hagrid returns midway through the feast. Defense Against the Dark Arts class, they were canceled because obviously there was no teacher. Technically, there was no teacher the whole year, but now there's no physical teacher there. There's no adult to stand in and supervise. Professor McGonagall announces that school exams are canceled, which Hermione was upset about. And it's like, stop it. Don't be that person right now. Just happy you're here. Gryffindor wins the House Cup. Lucius Malfoy had been sacked as a school governor. Draco was walking around sulking. Ginny was happy. And then it was time to go home. And Harry asked Ginny, what were you going to tell us about Percy? What had Percy been doing that he was so nervous and, didn't want us to talk about? Right? So Harry asked Ginny, hey, what were you going to tell us about Percy that, you didn't want to say it in front of Percy or anything like that. And it was, of course, because Percy had a girlfriend and she walked in on them making out. But now that it's out in the open, she asked you, oh, you won't make fun of him, right? Because she said this in front of the twins, too. And so they were like, he's got a girlfriend. Do you remember what the girlfriend's name is?
I should, but...
You should. You should know that it's Penelope Clearwater.
Penelope Clearwater.
So the twins are like, we wouldn't dream of it. So Harry, before they get back to King's Cross, Harry gives Ron his phone number. And he goes, hey, I taught your dad how to use a phone. So call me. And then we get a real comical ending to the book. So chapter notable number 7, the Dudleys proud of Harry. Hermione asked Harry, won't your aunt and uncle be proud of everything you've done this year? Proud? Are you crazy? All those times I could have died and didn't management? They'll be furious.
Was it this book that Neville was the one that actually got like the tie-breaking points, or was that the Sorcerer's Stone?
That was Philosopher's Stone, because remember it takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to your friends, to your enemies, but a great deal more to stand up to your friends.
Yeah.
So.
This was like a bow on the end of the chapter. Nothing really happened. I mean, Dobby got set free. We found out that Lucius is the one that brought in the diary.
Mm-hmm. We learned that there is some sort of magical connection between Voldemort and Harry, so it kind of plants the seed.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Right, kind of plants the seed. It doesn't really seem like a big deal, just a transfer of powers, but, we do see that there's similarities and obviously differences.
Which at this point, we haven't seen any of those powers other than Harry picked up a broom and knew how to use it.
Yeah, picked up a broom, and I think, from book 1, the core of the wands, right? They share that connection, and then this one, they're like, oh yeah, you speak Parseltongue because Voldemort speaks Parseltongue. This is kind of what happened. So it's like, okay, cool, another little connection there. So, yeah, just some neat stuff. Yeah, a bow on the book.
Yeah.
Everyone
really,
comes
really.
back. It's everybody that was petrified, they're good. Ginny's safe. The Weasleys are happy. Boom. Good ending.
I just love the ending. It just ties right back into the Dursleys. They'll be furious that they didn't manage to die. So that concludes Book 2, The Chamber of Secrets. And, man, are we about a year into this? It
was either October or November. I can't remember specifically, because I remember we were talking about the holidays coming up, and that's back when we were trying to get 2 episodes a week so that we could kind of stock up on stuff.
And it worked until it didn't.
It worked until it didn't.
It worked until you went, man, I'm really busy.
Plan.
It's great. More busy.
One of my favorite quotes, Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And life started throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah. So what's next? Okay, so what can they expect next? Our next episode.
Our next episode is going to be the end of the book review, which we're going to try to make a game out of, like a nice, fun bow on the end of everything.
Yeah.
With that hopefully that'll be something you don't want to miss. Once we figure out exactly what it is we're going to do.
That'll be fun.
And then after that,
We've got to do the movie review. Yeah, we got to do the movie review. So this will be the first time I'm watching the movie in many years.
Yeah, but I remember I tried to do the book review or the movie review myself, and I couldn't do it. Passed it over to you, and you're like, "Oh, I'm having so much fun with this." Okay, that's great.
Yeah. Because it's several things, right? And I say this as a person that read the books first. Yeah. The only thing, really the main thing that I dislike about the movies is things that I thought that should be in them.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of Harry Potter fans that read the books first and then watched the movies feel the same way. So I don't hate the movies. There are some great scenes in the movie. So I enjoy going back and watching it. And I like to say, okay, that's different from the book in this way. Oh, they didn't even put this in there. Oh, this was cool. I like the way they did this compared to the way they did in the book. So I kind of enjoy it just as a biased comparison.
Now, moving forward, we get like, oh, they didn't put this, but it will be there.
But
so that's a great way to think about it.
It better be. Yeah. So we'll do an in a book review, then we'll do a movie 2 review. And then are you telling me that we're going to do Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 1?
That's nuts. In 1 year. We're already on the 3rd book.
There you go.
But it's gonna get a lot slower because the books get a lot.
The books are great, yeah.
Bigger. So how long do you think it'll take us to get this one done? I don't even know how many chapters.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Let's see.
All right, what's your guess?
Let's see. So it's 4 chapters a month. So 4, 8, 12, 16. I'll say.
Now, what's your guess on how many chapters?
I'll say it's 24 chapters.
Close, 22 chapters.
Yeah, so that should take us, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, about 5 months.
So, yeah. So we should, this time next year, we'll be on the latter end of Goblet of Fire, right?
Or in the middle. That's a big book. There's a lot to talk about. There's going to be a lot of, I think there's going to be a lot of squibblers for that book.
All right, how many chapters do you think are in Goblet of Fire?
Oh, man, we're going to say 42.
Let's go 37 on you. Yeah, 37. Yeah. So that one's going to take, that one's going to be a chunk. So
yeah.
So we'll be in book, this time next year. We'll be in Goblet of Fire.
Terrible movie, good book. Well, thanks for joining us here at Squibs Corner. If you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, go ahead, leave us a comment, rate, a review. We're pretty much everywhere on all the platforms, everywhere. Apple Podcasts, iHeart. So,
and you know what? We want to say thank you to the people that watch, to the people that listen, to the people that actually leave, feedback, good, comments. We read those, we see those, and we love those. And we knew that, just 2 random guys doing a Harry Potter podcast, we know that. Knew it was going to be a slow growth, if growth at all. So to see the numbers climb, to see the number of comments climb, it's cool. It's great. And, I think for book 3, we're going to have some more guests on. We really enjoyed it when we've got some guests on. So we had a
lot of guests lined up, but it just with the scheduling, it just wasn't working. So.
Yeah, but we'll get it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we can't wait for you to continue on the journey with us.
I will just throw this in here. End of book pop quiz. Who is our best guess for the Chamber of Secrets?
Didn't we only have one?
I think we had a couple. I
know we had Kel.
That's because it's been so long.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know. I know we had a couple for book 1, and then we had my brother on for a squibbler. And then my daughter on for a book review.
Assuming we had more than one person, I guess both of our answers would be Kelly. So.
Yeah. I would have to look.
The only one we can remember.
Because I've got a couple patients. I've got, the artistic director down at the theater. I've got people that are like, oh, I would love to be. I would love to be on that. Yeah. So
I think I've got 2 lined up. So
okay, well let's coordinate that. We'll have some cool.
Oh yeah, no, it's
We'll have some cool guests and spice it up a little bit. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right, Andrew, go ahead and sign us out.
It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities.
Squibs Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobaugh and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham, myself. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review. To inquire about being a guest, or if you have questions, comments, or just want to give us your Harry Potter story, email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow Jeremiah's YouTube, Accio Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.